Hello and welcome to Functional Foundations. For today we will do a full body workout. We have a lot of work on your shoulder stabilizers today. As far as equipment goes, you will need a couple of dumbbells. I'm going to use milk jugs and some tubing. So I'm just using a fairly light tubing. You may want to grab a couple of different tensions depending on your strength level. So once you have that ready to go, we will get you warming up. We're just going to start with some shoulder circles. And change direction. We'll expand those to arm circles. And change direction. Let's move into some squats. So what I want you to do is have your legs about shoulder width apart. You can adapt as you need to depending on your flexibility and how your hips are shaped. Keep your feet flat on the ground and you're going to sit down into your squat and back up. As you get warmer, get a bit deeper into that squat. Think about your knees. They should track in the same direction as your feet are facing. So don't allow them to collapse inwards. That's bad. And don't bow out beyond where your feet are either. Just keep them nicely lined up. See if you can get a bit deeper, if it feels good, keeping that chest up. One more here. Awesome. We're going to move into some lunges. So what you're going to do is take a big step back with your one leg, bending both knees to 90 degrees, and you're just alternating legs. So that front foot stays flat on the ground, and your back leg bends, trying to keep your body nice and upright. It's the front leg that's doing the work on the lunges. And we're going to add in some rotation here. So stepping back and rotate, step back and rotate. Let's do one more each side. Awesome. We're going to move into some frontal range movement. So that means side to side. Taking a big step out to the side, lower your hips down and back. Alternating sides. Should feel a bit of a stretch through your inner thigh. Feel this hip working when it bends. And we're going to add in a stretch here. So as you lunge, reach overhead. Should be feeling warmed up. Let's go 2 more each way. Last ones. Excellent. Okay, we're going to get into our main workout. We have 2 circuits that we're going to go through. Each circuit we'll do 3 times, 10 reps for each exercise. So I'll explain as we go. You're trying to be nice and slow and controlled with your movements, focusing on staying in alignment, keeping your joints all lined up with each other, working on all those stabilizing muscles. So our first exercise is a reverse lunge with a single leg deadlift. So what you're going to do, step back into that reverse lunge we just did in our warm up. Then you're going to come into a single leg deadlift, extending that leg behind you and reaching overhead. Reverse lunge, single leg deadlift. Going for 10 of these. I'll back up and go at an angle to show you a bit better. So reverse lunge, balancing on this leg, and single leg deadlift. All right, here we go, moving at your own pace, going for 10. Lots of balance here. When you move into that deadlift, try to keep your hips square, square to the ground. Hard to do while I'm looking at the camera. Lots of butt work here. You're going to feel your glute working. One more at my pace. Awesome. All right, shake that out. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So reverse lunge, transfer that weight, extend, stretch everything out. Going for 10 reps, nice and controlled. Great work. 10 each side. From there, grab your tubing. If you don't have tubing, you can use some lighter weight dumbbells. The tubing is just a bit more effective for getting into those scapular muscles. So what you're going to do is hinge forward with a nice straight back, and with the tubing, you're going to pull it apart. So when you pull it apart, your wrist should be basically over your elbows or maybe even a bit wider. And you're going to press overhead. And when you press overhead, you need to keep pulling that tubing apart. Don't let it come together. So if we get back into our stance here, you want your torso just above parallel to the ground. Pull that tubing apart. Now overhead, press overhead and bring it back. Going for 10. Keep pulling that tubing apart. This should feel very hard. Try to snap that tubing in half. If you're holding dumbbells, the key here is that you're just trying to get full extension, really stretching it overhead. 3 more at my pace. Awesome. Hopefully you felt that in the backs of your shoulders. From there, we have a side lunge to balance. So for this one, your dumbbells are optional, but they're a great way to add more intensity. If you already find side lunges challenging, then just do this as body weight. So all you're going to do here is take your step out, get nice and low in that side lunge, hips go down and back, come up and balance. And you'll do 10 on one side, 10 on the other. I'm just gonna back up a bit so you can see my feet. Here we go. Side lunge, hips go down and back, up to balance. So you're learning all about that weight transfer from the outside leg to the stationary leg. So stationary leg is not working. It's just hanging out. And it's the glute on this leg that's stepping out that is creating the force to get you back to that balance point. 2 more. And then when you're done with those, switch sides. can while keeping your chest up in that side lunge. Roxy. Awesome job. 10 each side. Hey, that's enough. 6. All right, and our last one in the circuit is a T push-up. So you're going to do a push-up and then rotate into a T position. Push-up, rotate to T position. Feel free to drop down to your knees if you like for these push-ups. You're doing 10 push-ups total, so that is 5 rotations each way. Here we go. Nice tight core, push up, rotate up. If your core is strong, you can lift that top leg. That's an advanced option. Push up, rotate, push those hips up to the sky. Feel free to drop to your knees if you'd like. Awesome job. So we'll do 2 more rounds of precisely the same thing, starting with the reverse lunge with the single leg deadlift. Move at your own pace. Here we go. Reverse lunge. Transfer that weight. Reach everything out. Keep your hips square. Working this glute. Working your back muscles to extend into that deadlift position. One more. Really good. All right, we'll switch sides. Keeping those hips square to the ground. Try to really extend that back leg behind you. Keep it controlled. All right. Grab your tubing or your dumbbells. You're doing the bent over overhead press. So torso is just above parallel to the ground. You're pulling apart on that tubing. Going for 10. Nice and slow and controlled. Here we go. Breathe. Awesome. Side lunges. If you want to add more weight, you could put a backpack on or just grab heavier dumbbells depending on what you have access to. 10. Coming up to balance. Hips going down and back in that side lunge, trying to get full range. Just let your arms hang. Resist the urge to bend at the elbow. Switching sides at 10. Two more. Awesome. Okay, let's work on those push-ups. Rotating, lifting that top leg if you want it more advanced. Dropping your knees if you want it less advanced. Here we go. Nice strong core. Push those hips up, contract your oblique in that side bridge. Keep breathing, last one at my pace. Woo-hoo. All right, you got one more round? Of course you do. You can grab a drink if you'd like one. I know I would. We have the reverse lunge to deadlift. Here we go, 10 per leg. Nice and balanced. Tighten up that core. Reach overhead. Make yourself nice and long. Try to extend that back leg behind you. Awesome. Switching up legs. Squaring off those hips. Woo. Falling over. Come on, lefty. Good. job. Into the overhead press, bent over. Pull that tubing apart. Keep pulling it apart throughout the whole motion. 10 presses. Pull hard. All right. Side lunges, 10 each way. Here we go. Hips down and back. Coming back to balance. Outside leg doing all the work. The other one's just hanging out. Switch sides at 10. Five more. Really good. Okay, we have 10 T push-ups. Let's make them super pretty. From your toes or from your knees, or maybe half and half. Push up. Reach to the sky. Keep breathing. Last one at my pace. Okay, we are into our second circuit. We have a walkout to plank. So for these, we're gonna really stretch out your hamstrings. I want you to keep your knees straight. And for the plank, I want you to extend into the plank as far as you can without getting a face plant and falling on the ground. So if I back up here, straight legs. I can go wider if my hamstrings are tight. Reaching for the ground, walking out as far as I can without face planting, and then back up. All right, so the wider your legs are, that is just if you're not quite as flexible in your hamstrings and you can't reach the ground. If you're feeling really strong and you have good balance, you can do walkouts on one leg at a time. So just alternate one side and then the other. You do 5 on each leg. So going for 10 total. I'll demo single leg and double leg. Here we go. So this is more advanced on the one leg. All the way out. All the way back. 2 legs. right. Going for 10, that's 3 at my pace. Strong core. Two more. Whew. All right, that was good. Next up we have windmills. Okay, so you're gonna want a dumbbell to hold overhead. If this is a new exercise to you, then choose a lighter dumbbell. If you've done these before, then you can go quite heavy. So it's just up to you what you feel comfortable with. And the goal here is to keep your arms straight. You're not gonna bend at the elbow at all. You're just gonna keep reaching up towards the sky. So, wide stance. Turn both your feet to the same direction, 45 degrees. I back up here, so I'm here. I'm gonna turn both feet this way, 45 degrees. Reach that arm up, slide down, and back up. So keep reaching with this arm. You're gonna push your hips that way, slide your leg down your leg, and back up. Going for 10. I'll come closer in case you can hear me, but here we go. So wide stance, feet turned, reaching up to the ceiling or the sky. Try to keep that arm straight. 10 reps, I'm gonna do 8 more. So this is working your side and your shoulder, teaching you how to stack that shoulder. 2 more. Your knees stay straight. There's no bending of any joints, no bending of your elbow, no bending of your knees. All right, so if this arm is up, that means I'm turning my feet this way, 45 degrees, pushing my hips that way. Coming down, back up, knees stay straight, reaching to the sky. Come on. Really good. All right. So from there, we're going to have bear walks. So you're going to be walking on your hands and knees, but your knees don't get to touch the ground. They're just going to stay just above the ground. And you're going to walk from one point to the other, there and back 5 times. So I'll set up. My little runway here, and I'm doing my walk there and back 5 times. So on your hands and knees, lift those knees just off the ground. Here we go, nice, stable core. Don't let your butt pop up. You're keeping your knees just above the ground. screaming. Oh, 2 more, depending on how long your stretch is. Alright, so hopefully you had as much fun with that as I did. Last exercise in the circuit is a sumo squat to an upright row. So stepping wide with your legs, toes are pointed out. So if toes are out, knees also go out. You're gonna squat down, come up, drive your elbows to the ceiling. So if I back up, toes out, wide stance, knees are also out. Squatting down, feel a good stretch in your thigh. Pull it up. Go for 10. Elbows to the sky, that's important. Your elbows should be the highest point on the upright row. Okay, we'll do that circuit one more time and then we'll stretch it out, doing the walk out to plank, reaching as far overhead as you can, keeping your legs straight. If you found it not too hard, do one leg. If you found this challenging, then do both legs at the same time. Here we go. Keep those knees straight, stretch out those hamstrings. Halfway. Three more. Last one. Whew, good. Okay, so from there we have our windmill. So you're reaching up, it's in your left hand, your feet are pointing to the right, and you're pushing your hips to the left as you come down. 10 on each side. Here we go. Reach up, slide that hand down your leg. Keep your legs straight, keep your arms straight. Woo. Awesome. Other way. So feet are pointing the opposite direction. Arm up, hips go back, hand slides down the leg. Keep breathing. Good job. All right. Bear walks. I confess, these are tougher than I anticipated. There and back 5 times. Don't let your knees touch the ground. You got this. Keep a nice flat back. Take breaks as you need them, as you saw I did last time. Knees just above the ground. Two more. Woo. One more. You got this. Great work. Okay, sumos with the upright row. Final exercise. So you're in a super wide squat, toes pointing out, knees also pointing out, elbows driving straight up to the sky. Going for 10. All right, awesome work. Let's stretch it out. I'm going to start with our hamstrings. So what you're going to do is have your one leg in front, sit your hips back, lean forward till you feel a good stretch through the back of that leg. Hold it there. And switching sides. Moving into your quads, standing on one foot, grabbing onto the opposite, staying nice and tall. You should feel the stretch right in the front of your thigh. And switch legs.